Have you ever seen a trumpet player roll up to rehearsal with a literal suitcase full of instruments, and you say to yourself, why do you need so many trumpets? My name is Freddy, I play trumpet with the Lakes Brass Quintet, and today I'm going to take you through my arsenal of trumpets and explain to you when and why I use each one. Now let me clarify. I'm going to talk about trumpets that I actually take with me on gigs. I'm not going to talk about my pocket trumpet, or my plastic trumpet, or my soprano trombone. But if that's something you want to see me talk about later, drop a comment down below. Anyway, let's get started with the trumpet that I probably use the most. That's right, we're starting with the old reliable B-flat trumpet. Now the B-flat trumpet is the horn that most American students start on when they're in 5th grade or 6th grade, or whenever they start their band program. When I was in 5th grade, way back in 2008, I started on a Yamaha student model, but around the time I got to 8th grade, 9th grade is when I switched to my Bach Stradivarius that I play to this day. Generally speaking, we play our B-flat trumpets when we're in wind band or we're in a jazz band setting. Now with my quintet work, a lot of my stuff is written for B-flat trumpet, so that's the horn that I play the most. I also do my fundamentals and my etudes on this horn, but I very well could do all my exercises on the horn I'm going to show you next. I use my C trumpet almost as much as I use my B-flat trumpet. Now the B-flat trumpet and the C trumpet are what we consider to be big horns. Don't worry, we'll talk about small horns later. Now I typically use my C trumpet in orchestra settings, or if I'm at a church gig and I have to read out of a hymnal or a piano score. If you ever wondered why we play C trumpets in orchestras, you can blame the French, which is something I might explain in another video when we talk about the history of trumpets and such. Honestly, I've been doing so much quintet work lately that I haven't gotten the C trumpet out as much as I would like. But I did find a way to use my C trumpet to my advantage on one of our recording projects. One of the benefits of having all these different trumpets is that you have the right tool for the job. Back in November, we posted our recording of Randy Newman's A Bug's Life Suite, which you should totally check out, either the music video or the scrolling score, or both. While I had arranged the piece for B-flat trumpet, I decided to actually record my part for the beginning and the finale on C trumpet using the skill of transposition. If transposition freaks you out, comment the phrase, "Transposition is scary," down in the comment section and we'll make a video on it. The main reason that I decided to use my C trumpet instead of my B-flat trumpet is because the part went all the way up to a high C sharp, which I can do on my B-flat trumpet, but by picking my C trumpet, I raise my pitch by a whole step. That actually helps me to eliminate partials in the upper register, which doesn't necessarily make it easier to play, but it makes it less likely that I'm going to either overshoot or undershoot that high C sharp. I know, transposition, it's crazy. We definitely need to make a video on that. Anyway, you're probably wondering, Freddy, should I buy a C trumpet? Here's what I suggest. If you're deciding to go to school for trumpet performance, my Starbucks order is a grande salted caramel cold brew. Bum. Just kidding. Not really. If you are going to school for performance, I suggest that you have a B-flat trumpet and a C trumpet. Not only will this help you if you're in an orchestra or if you're working on orchestral excerpts, but there's so much great solo repertoire that you'll probably play on your juries or recitals that it's good to have both. Also, if you're a classical player, a good way for you to make a little bit of money is by playing church gigs. And unless you want to be transposing all the time, get yourself a C trumpet and you can play just about anything in a church gig. The C trumpet I play is a Yamaha Zeno with a custom lead pipe by Charlie Melk. And now it is time to talk about a horn that took many years from my life. Now we get to talk about our auxiliary horns. These are horns that you don't necessarily need to go out and buy today, but they certainly come in handy if you have them. The B-flat cornet is basically the mellow cousin of our B-flat trumpet. Our trumpet is kind of bright and piercing, where our cornet is more dark and mellow. So if you're ever in wind band and you see cornet parts and trumpet parts, the cornet parts are probably going to play the pretty melodies, while the trumpet parts play the powerful fanfares. But Freddy, surely I'll never have to play cornet in an orchestra setting. Composers of the Romantic era liked throwing cornet parts into their works because the instrument rose to prominence in the mid to late 1800s. So pieces like Tchaikovsky's Capriccio Italien or Berlioz's Roman Carnival Overture use cornet parts in the orchestra. You might even play a cornet in a Dixieland-style jazz band. My first trumpet teacher when I was in middle school actually played cornet with the Princeton Brass Band. So I got a student model cornet when I was very young and started learning the nuances of this instrument at a young age. The cornet I play today, the Constellation, was given to me by a friend from my church, and he gave it to me the summer before my graduate lecture recital where I played multiple versions of Carnival of Venice. And if you think the cornet has a mellow sound, get ready for our next horn. Ah, yes. The horn of choice for Mr. Chuck Mangione. Like the cornet, our flugelhorn is an auxiliary horn that's pitched in B flat. Generally speaking, we use our flugelhorn in commercial music settings. This means jazz bands, jazz combos, or musical theater shows. But that doesn't mean we never use it classically. In fact, I use my flugelhorn all the time with the quintet, and I've played some really cool solo flugelhorn classical pieces during my time as an undergraduate. If you're looking for an awesome ballad to play on a jury or a recital, check out Kevin McKee's A Winter's Night. It's gorgeous. But I play in an orchestra. I'll never have to play the flugelhorn, right? While you don't typically see a flugelhorn at the back of the orchestra, sometimes we use the flugelhorn to emulate the sounds of outdated instruments. For example, in Mahler's Third Symphony, there's a post horn in B flat in the third movement. When I learned these excerpts with my teacher, I learned them on flugelhorn. Or in Respighi's Pines of Rome, the fourth movement uses buccine parts, which I typically play on B flat trumpet, though there's some debate whether or not you should use a flugelhorn to get a more authentic sound. Because the flugelhorn is an auxiliary instrument, you don't actually have to break the bank to buy a good flugelhorn. I've gone through so many flugelhorns at this point, from LeBlanc to Jupiter, and finally landed on a Yamaha, but I did a very minimal upfront investment, less than $1,000, and traded my way up to a horn that has the best intonation I've ever had on a flugelhorn. Oh, and it's probably worth mentioning that for your flugelhorn and your trumpet and even your cornet, you're going to need separate mouthpieces. This is our trumpet mouthpiece. This is our flugelhorn mouthpiece. Notice the shank is significantly smaller. Do not be that guy trying to shove a trumpet mouthpiece into your flugelhorn. Don't do it. Please, dear God, don't do it. Enough big horn talk, it's time to talk about the little guys. If you've ever gone on a trumpet listening binge, you've probably come across the Haydn and Hummel trumpet concertos. These are pieces that are played on the E-flat trumpet. Now, there are versions that exist for the B-flat trumpet, but you'll find it easier to play on an E-flat trumpet because they were written for E-flat trumpets. Now, we don't just use E-flat trumpets for solo rep. I use my E-flat trumpet a lot in the same way that I use my C trumpet. I need the right tool for the job. So if I have a part that's super high in the upper register, but I don't need a massive sound, I'll do some transposition and play it on my E-flat trumpet. We did this in my arrangement of A Muppet's Christmas Carol for that exact reason, which you should go check out. My E-flat trumpet is a Selmer, and what I love about it is it's got this really cool mechanism here that moves my tuning slide on the fly, making it super easy for me to adjust the pitch. This horn also came with a slide that would pitch my trumpet in D. But when I have a D trumpet part, I don't go and grab my D trumpet. Most trumpet players wind up grabbing their The Piccolo Trumpet is the cutest but meanest instrument in my collection. It is half the size of a B-flat trumpet, which means it plays an octave higher. Now, a lot of naive younger students, myself included, think that playing on the Piccolo Trumpet means it's just super easy to play in the upper register. Spoiler alert, it's not. You still have to get your lips to vibrate at super high frequencies, regardless of if you're playing on a small horn or a big horn, and that requires a lot of effort. In my opinion, 20 minutes of practicing Piccolo Trumpet is about the same as playing my B-flat or C Trumpet for an hour. These days, I don't get my Piccolo Trumpet out that much because I'm recovering from a jaw injury caused by my chronic TMJ, so I've got to be really smart about how I practice my upper register. But I do try to work in some scale studies so I don't lose my pick chops entirely. Like my E-flat trumpet, my Piccolo Trumpet is also made by Selmer, and it has an A lead pipe and a B-flat lead pipe. Generally speaking, we use our A lead pipe when we're playing Baroque pieces in the key of D, and modern composers will write for Piccolo Trumpet in B-flat. So there you have it. That's my arsenal of trumpets. If you had fun learning some of these tricks of the trumpet trade, drop a like down below and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our music videos, sheet music, or more brass tips like these. We'll see you in the next one.